Hey everybody, Rock DIY here. I'm going to cover this Eufy security camera. This can be a standalone camera that you can use with an app on your phone, or you can add this to your existing security system if you already have a Eufy security system with a base station connected to your router. But this is a Eufy indoor security camera with pan and tilt movement and 2K resolution. And just a note on this, this camera only works with 2.4 gigahertz. You really don't know that until you start to set it up. So in the box, you get the camera, and on the camera at the very top is your microphone, you got your lens, and then you got your status LED here at the bottom. Underneath right here is where your power connection is. This camera does not have a battery. It does need to be plugged into a power outlet. You also have your sync button or your pairing button, and then you have these two notches here where your plate goes on so that you can connect it onto a wall or a ceiling. And the way that this would go on is you just take it like this, place it in here, and then slide it up and it locks in place. It does come with this cable, and the way that you connect this cable is place it in here, just like that, and it'll lay flat so that you can put the plate on without any issues. And then on the opposite end of the cable you have a USB-A connector, and that goes into the charging block for your power outlet. It's difficult to see, but there's a sticker. It's perforated with two holes in it for your plate that you're going to mount it with. Basically, you're just going to peel that off, stick it on the ceiling or the wall, wherever you're going to put it, and then take your plate and you know where to put your screws. And then you also get a small baggie that's got 2 screws and 2 anchors. And you may or may not need the anchors depending on where you decide to put it. Almost forgot to mention, but right here is an SD card slot. In order to use this camera, you do have to install the Eufy security app on your phone. Take advantage of the full features. When you first power the camera up, it's going to go through a self-test, and this is what it will do. It will show a purple light, basically meaning it's initializing, and then it'll go through some pan and tilt movements. And then the light will go blue, which means it's working properly. So what you just saw is a 360-degree round look. It doesn't continue to go, but it will scan 360 degrees. So wherever it happens to be, it's going to go around one way, come back, and then go around the other way until it gets 360 degrees. Here is where the camera lens is all the way tilted up and then all the way down using the app, and you want to tilt it all the way up when you go to put your SD card in, if that's what you choose to use to save your recordings. And then I can go left, and notice that on the camera, the status LED is red. The status LED will always be red if someone is watching a live stream or recording an event. It's basically telling you can't do anything else until you stop streaming or recording. So those are the basics of the camera, and then I'll do another video or included in this video on how to use all of the settings. Before you can start using your Eufy security cameras, you do have to go to the App Store, go into the search bar, type in Eufy, and as soon as you type that in, you'll see Eufy security. Go ahead and click that. Once that comes up, you'll see just below So Secure, you'll see Eufy security. In my case, you'll see that it says open, but you'll see get. Mine says open because I've already installed it on my phone. You'll get that, and then once you get the app, what you will do is put in your email address, establish a password. Once that's done, you'll get an email link to activate the account. Click the link. They'll also give you a security code that you have to type in. Type that in and then establish your Eufy security account. And you can do this before or after you set up. Once you download the Eufy security app, which is what I have here at the bottom right of my main screen on my phone. So I click that, and then here's the app as you see it on your phone. And at the very top is the pan and tilt indoor camera. The bottom two are the other cameras that I have that I'm not going to discuss in this video. Mainly going to go over the settings for the pan and tilt camera. As you can see in the top left corner, there's a watermark that says Eufy security. Then you got the little eyeball there. That basically is if you want your camera to be in privacy mode. You just press this, and it's what you can use for your own privacy, or you don't want your cameras recording anything in a certain area at a given time. And then on the bottom left of the top screen, you see workshop, and that's just a random name that I gave it. And then you see the Wi-Fi symbol, and then you see the play button in the middle. And then in the top right, you can see the date timestamp. On the bottom right of the top screen, you see a box with 0. That 0 will change as certain events happen. And then on the very far right, you see the 3 dots. So if I go back and I clicked the box with the 0, it's going to bring me to this screen and just show me the events, if there were any, but there aren't any. If I go to the 3 dots, I have the moon with the Z's, and then I have the cogwheel on the right. If I press the moon with the Z's, snooze will come up. You can set a snooze duration from 15 minutes to 12 hours. But all it means is that you're just not going to get any alerts. Basically, it's to give you a period of time in which you won't get any alerts on your phone. But if you have it set up to record, then it will still record. And then if you go over to the cogwheel, here under the settings, you have motion detection, sound detection, pan tilt settings, angle settings, video settings, audio settings, and notification. If you go to motion detection, here you can turn it on or off. Activity zone, you can set that zone. Maybe you just have a certain area that you want it to stay on, and you can set it in here. And then you can set the detection preference for human or all other motions. You do have to be careful with all other motions, because if you got wind and branches are blowing, you're going to get alerts. Sensitivity, you can set the sensitivity from really low to highest, but you should test that just to make sure that you have your settings where you want it. And as far as motion tracking, you do have to turn it on or off. If we go back, now we got sound detection, and I don't know if you live in a high noise area, or if you have neighbors that make a lot of noise, or you have animals that make a lot of noises out in the woods, or a lot of barking dogs. You may not want to set this because it may send non-stop alerts. But if you do turn it on, then you can set your sensitivity level, and then you can do round look. The camera will look around to see what's going on. Pan tilt settings, and you can select how quickly you want your camera to rotate, and then you can all calibrate it. And then you got angle settings. Here you have privacy angle and default angle, and these are two things that you do want to set in. So if you just don't want it to record anything at any given time, you set this privacy angle and the camera will go there. Basically you can set it to like stare at the corner or something, and that's what it'll do once you go to privacy mode. And then you got default angle. This is where you want to, the typical area that you may have motion or movement or an intruder. This is what you're going to use so that it's sitting there. And this may be over a garage door or a window or just a regular walk-through door. You have it set here, and you do have to turn on. Then you set your default angle, and here's where you would set it. And then you got your idle time. And in this case, it is set for 1 minute, and then it'll go back to the default angle. And then you have some additional settings, video settings, audio settings, notification, general, share device, and share your thought. Those that I just read off are pretty common on the majority of the cameras. Not all cameras are going to have all the same exact settings, or all cameras are just not going to have the same settings as other cameras. So video settings, you can go here, set up auto night vision. You can set up the watermark as far as a timestamp and a logo. So here you can set for the watermark off timestamp or timestamp and logo. And what you saw earlier was the timestamp and logo. Streaming quality, you can set it for auto, or then you can go to high, medium, low. Some of the things you may experience depending on the level of streaming quality that you use. So you'll have to make that decision on which one you want to use. Recording quality, you can go 2K HD or full HD, and then you can see here the note that Eufy has continuous recording, and the only way that you're going to be able to continuously record is if you insert the SD card, but just keep in mind that there's going to be some limits, and you can see the limits as far as 16 gig up to 128 gig. Storage duration estimate, 36 hours is 1.5 days. 128 gig is going to be 288 hours or 12 days. There's those. And then you got audio, turn your microphone on, and then you can set it so that it starts recording as soon as the video is recording. And then you can also turn your speaker on, and then you can also set the speaker volume on the camera. And then you got notification in here with these three right here: human, all other motion, all sound. Select what you do want to select, but be careful with selecting them all, because you're going to get non-stop notifications, and that's based on your sensitivity level as well. And then you got your interval time, and that's just an interval between the notifications that you'll get. Mode switch notifications, in this case it's switch modes by geofencing is on. And then here you have the content extension of the notification: most efficient, full effect, include thumbnail, and you can see what it gives you as far as the notification. And then you got app alert tones. You can set motion alerts. It's set the default, but there's some options there that you can choose as well. You have general here at the very top. You can change the name to whatever you want. You just go here, change it. You got your status LED, and that is the LED on the camera itself. You can turn it on or off. Having it on might be a deterrent. Having it off may not be a deterrent at all. And then you got your storage, and here you can select what you want to do. So local storage would be on the micro SD card on the camera. Cloud storage will be through Eufy, and I think they have two different plans you can use. And then you can use NAS RTSP. So if you select local storage, you can see here it says there's no micro SD card. So if you put that in there, you have to follow these steps. And then you got cloud storage, and then here's where Eufy offers their different plans. And then you got NAS RTSP, real-time streaming protocol with network attached storage. There are those. Wi-Fi connection, whatever your router is, you'll see that name there saying that it's connected. And then your time settings for whatever time zone you're in. And then here's a mounting guide. You can rotate the image 180 degrees, or you can leave it as is. And then you got your placement guidelines. It's just going to take you through the steps of how to set it up, where to put it, and then you can select these, and then it gives you an idea of how you should set it up or where it should be so that it records properly. And then you have about device, and you got your model number, serial number, system version, IP address, MAC address. This is all good to have, and this is also so that you can ensure that you have the current firmware. And then here with share device, you can either share your system or you can share a specific device. You may have 3, 4, 5 cameras, but you only want to share one camera, so you can share that with friends or family. All you have to do is put in their email address. So you would click invite, and then you give them certain permissions, and I'd select these carefully. Do that, and then click next, and then which devices. So you have to select, in this case it's going to be the base station and the 2 cameras, so you select that, or the pan and tilt camera. You can select that and then put their email address in. It'll email them, and then they have to install the app on their phone and also establish an account for access. And then you have share your thoughts. If you want to share your thoughts, this is how you would do it. And then you click the contact us button, and then here at the bottom you can restart the device. Restarting the device is the equivalent of unplugging it and plugging it back in. And then at the very bottom you have remove device. If you want to completely take the device off the app, then you would select remove device. And that is pretty much the settings for the indoor cam mini.